Hi, thank you for tuning to the second episode of Insider'S Spotlight. I'm Jasmine and I'll be your host for today. This evening, we have a group of very special instrumentalists from Singapore who will be taking you on a whole new outlook of how music can be expressed in a less conventional way, but at the same time, stopping your tracks and make you wonder what in the world is going on and what am I feeling? So if you have ever thought of venturing into experimental music or wonder how to revolutionize the concert experience for your audience, then we have a very special treat for you today. Alright, so now without further ado, let us welcome Cole from Singapore. Alright, so first up we have Daniel Yao, who plays the bass clarinet in Cole. Hi Daniel.
Hi.
Alright. And next we have Vincent Ng, Vincent Tan, who plays the euphonium in Cole. Don Cole, who plays trombone. Hi Don. And finally, Michelina, who plays saxophones. Hi everyone.
Hi, Jasmine.
Hi, Jasmine. How are
Hello.
you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you guys?
Fantastic.
That's good. Thank you so much for joining us today on Insider's Spotlight. It's so nice to see all the familiar faces again appearing on our show. We met a few times, I think last year, but we haven't really talked about what you guys do as a group, right? And what Cole actually does on a daily basis. So why not let's jump into that and discover into the world of Cole. So Daniel, maybe you want to start with you. Tell us a bit about what Cole is and what do you guys actually do?
We are a mixed instrumental ensemble. It's quite a weird instrumentation. Like I play bass clarinet and then we have trombone, euphonium, and saxophone. So a lot of our parts are actually quite similar. I mean, like if we think in the band context, we always play the middle or lower parts in the band. But we try to use that to our advantage so we can have like homogeneous sounds and also just to explore the whole range of each instrument. And I'll maybe let the rest of the teammates to expand a little bit more.
Well, Vincent, what is Cole really?
So basically, with Cole, what we try to do as much as possible is to provide our listeners with a more saturated experience. Meaning, in a concert situation, they get to immerse themselves completely in the show. In trying to achieve this result, what we try to do on our part is to make sure that we program music that has a narrative or similar kind of narrative. So we are telling a story, and at the same time, we are engaging multiple senses each time when they are playing. So, for example, on a recent show that we did towards the end of last year, which was at the Yongshito Conservatory in Singapore. So what we did was the whole room was dark, and the entire show was about 45 minutes or so. And so we went through this theme of loss, and music revolving around that. So it's a different experience than just sitting down, and we hope that the audiences don't feel like there's a line between the performers and the audience.
I mean, so to all of you watching out there, if you've never been to one of Cole's concert, we have a short snippet of clips taken from the Facebook Live that you guys have done with the National Arts Council of Singapore just a few days ago. So there are some of the works in there which are quite interesting. I think it really brings out the color of the characteristics of your group. So let me just show you a bit of what Cole actually does. Let's roll it. All right, interesting, wasn't it? Like, who in the world, think of something like that to create even, in a kind of in a performance and provides a whole new different meaning to what music can do. So I'm going to bring this question back to the team over here. What is the one word that came to your mind when you guys first got together? When you conceptualize, okay, I'm going to create something like that. What's the one word that came to your mind? Michelina?
Wow. I think what we were trying to do is tell a story. So storytelling is my one word. So with this, we wanted to, encapsulate the different emotions and feelings that we felt through the circuit breaker in Singapore or the MCO that you guys have in Malaysia. And, in one set, so to say. And we go through different emotions like insomnia, with anxiousness, being breathless, things like that. So I think with our group, we try to tell a story every time we perform. So try to make it relatable to audiences. Yeah.
Storytell would be your word then, Michelina. Right, storytell. Yep. All right. What is your word?
Well, I think it would be exciting. I mean, I was really excited to find a group of people who are willing actually to kind of go beyond the traditional means of performing, right? And also actually doing the actual work behind performing, like doing things like production, planning, writing, asking for grants, things like that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. What about Vincent and Daniel? What kind of things were you guys thinking about when you wanted to be part of Cole?
For me, it's about relevance.
Relevance. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's as classical musicians, so much of what we do is looking back at older things, looking back at older music, looking back at the past. I don't think we do enough of a reflection and a reaction to what is actually happening right now. So what I find really interesting with this group is whatever we are doing, I think it reflects what is happening to the world right now, which I think is also very important. Yeah, because we have the ability to say something through music about the current situation, right? So yeah, that's it for me. Yeah.
Okay. Daniel, what about you?
For me, or I think I can speak on behalf of all of us, would be like provocative.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think our group's aim from the start was always to provide with the audience a different concert experience. And knowing that we would be doing the concert with NAC digitally, we wanted to explore as many different ways as we could to just try to change every piece that we play different. Yeah, if not, you're just looking at on your screen, and that's it. Yeah, so I think with us, whether it's live or not, we try to provide this concert experience, for anyone around the world. Yeah.
I mean, all very interesting words. Like they're sort of interconnected, but at the same time, different in a way. So you have all these different ideas in mind, what led you to the name Cole? How is Cole related to any of this? Yeah. Anyone wants to Michelina?
I've heard this answer so many times now. So I think our model answer that we are all wind instruments. So we breathe music through we give music life through our mouths, through our breaths. And so I think that's how we came about with this name Cole. And then with what Daniel said as well, provocative. The mouth is you tell jokes, you can you imagine your mouth doing so many things? You know,
Sure.
they are different in nature as well. Yeah, without going into so much detail. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So coal. I think there's also a debate that usually that goes around surrounds the name coal as to whether it is just coal or coal music. Or is it just coal? Ooh. Yeah. Vincent, do you want to clarify which is the name you guys have been going with? And
Okay, so I have a little bit of blame to take for this one. Okay, our name has always been Ko. So the K, the Chinese writing of Ko, which is like a square and a U. So obviously, I was put to task to create an email account. So when I was trying to create an email account, I could not use KOU because it was already taken. Therefore, I make this decision on my own to use KOU MUSIK, which is Ko Music. And then that sort of, I think, created some confusion even amongst ourselves. Are we Ko Music or are we Ko or what are we? But to tell everyone upfront now, our name is Ko. It means mouth in Mandarin, and that's it. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So just for audience out there who don't know Mandarin, so if you look at their logo design, you can see that there's this thing like that in the middle of the word. So that's how you actually pronounce the word ko. So it's in Mandarin we have like four ways, four different. I don't know. Yeah. So it's ko ko
Yeah.
ko ko. Yeah. So the right way of pronouncing it is
Ko.
Okay, there you go. All right. All right. Looking into your backgrounds, the four of you you have been playing different instruments, throughout your whole life. You don't meet each other in the same same faculty. You guys got it, like the same instrument class. So how did you guys come together eventually? Don.
Well, I mean, I already knew Vincent for quite a bit because we are different instruments, but it's quite similar. We both had the same first teacher, actually. So I kind of knew Vincent like maybe about 10 years ago
Almost been
already.
that long.
Yeah.
More
maybe,
than that, probably.
Yeah, actually more than that. Maybe like 11 or 12. Yeah. So that's how I kind of knew him, and how it came about is both of us, we were doing our studies and we knew we were going to come back to Singapore, but we didn't just want to just get into life back here and kind of fit into the mold and we wanted to create new things, right? Bring new things that we have kind of learned from our studies overseas. And also how I kind of met Daniel and Michelina was we all play different instruments. I wasn't even in the same school with them in the Netherlands, but I think Singaporeans studying music overseas is not a lot, right? So not a lot of us. So we kind of banded together, and that's how we kind of knew each other. And also Daniel being a conductor, he always got us to play in his exams. So
is that right? Okay. Then I've got another question so all of you were sort of classically trained, is that right? Classically trained?
Yes.
Yeah.
So then why venture into this, more experimental, like why not stick to the conventional pathway? Yeah, Daniel?
I mean, we are still technically doing classical music, just that we're not playing the classical genre.
Okay.
Or at least the classical period music, We're playing more modern stuff. I mean, we do still play like standard repertoire, but we try to modernize things as well. So I guess that's where our classical training brings us some sort of advantage, I guess. Or at least we have some training in that. Yeah. So I think it's quite hard to say why we are actually doing what we are doing. I think it's just because of the love of Yeah, and to champion music by living people and not by people who has been dead for like 400 years, you know.
Have all of you
With that also, maybe because we're all underdog instruments of the orchestra. Like saxophone, you don't see in orchestra so much. Neither do you see the euphonium.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we have had to venture out of our comfort zones into this different kind of performance or presentation. Yeah, so I think it's great that we've come together as a quartet. Yeah.
I mean, it's quite interesting as well because you're able to create something new that sort of have to sculpt your identity in a world full of like classical musicians as well, right? You're doing something really different.
We
All
hope
right.
so.
I think you guys are doing pretty well because you guys you just only formed last year, was it 2019?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's new, and then you guys have been making. Yeah. Sorry, yes, Vincent.
Yeah, actually, I've got the date for when we got our name. So I scrolled back to our chat.
Yeah.
So it's the 24th of May, 2019. I got the text at 4:57 a.m. Singapore time, 4:57
a.m.
a.m.
Our anniversary. We missed our anniversary.
Yeah. Of course, you were okay. Just a bit of backstory. You were in Singapore during that time, and then the rest of them were in Amsterdam. Was it?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So it came to fruition during. What was the time zone in Amsterdam during that time?
6 hours
6
behind.
hours.
Yeah.
Right, so about 10
+2, right, or something like that.
Oh wait.
Yeah.
About
10 p.m. So we were actually having dinner at Misha's place. Yeah. So then we just brainstormed. Yeah, we had many funny names.
We were actually supposed to meet. We were actually supposed to meet because we were supposed to put a proposal for the performer symposium at YST, and I think we got the idea down in like 10 minutes.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, and then but it took us like 2.5 hours to come up with the name actually.
Okay, just out of curiosity, what were the other names that came like good contenders during that time? What did you guys came up with?
Mish, you have the whole list.
It's strange. Did you say it's strange?
I think there was one that was like what Blaksa or something. Blaksa, yeah, like a combination of laksa and because in Dutch, like wind instruments, they're called blazers. So there's this like BLA, yeah. So she wanted to combine with some local influences. I'm quite glad we didn't stick with Blaksa.
There would have been such a weird, like not weird, I mean totally different idea.
Maybe if we were like a ska band, that would work.
Oh yeah. You're right, definitely. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we'll come back to the next segment with more questions as to the challenges you guys face as a multi-instrumental group, and whether there's actually a more a leader behind the group and how you guys work out the process. So before that, we have a very interesting game prepared for you guys. It's called Say It and You Lose. So let's roll the transition right now. All right, so this game is quite simple, I think. So basically, each of us are actually assigned a word, okay? And we don't know what the word is. We don't know what our own word is, okay? But we so to the viewers who are watching, you can see all of our words on the screen right now, okay? Basically, what we have to do is to get that person to say the word that they've been assigned to, okay? So once the person says it, they're out. Okay? As simple as that. Okay, so today we only have one word. Just the one word. Okay? So let's have a look at each other's words first. Okay? Alright. This is difficult. Okay. Yeah. Alright, so are you guys ready?
Oh, have you not started?
Not yet.
No, okay.
Okay. If
there's a time limit, right?
Yeah, so this is 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Okay? Alright, here we go.
Jasmine, how are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. Daniel, what about you?
Are you sure, Jasmine?
Positive.
What to add?
Hey, Vincent.
Yes,
How are you?
fantastic.
That's good.
Yeah, do you practice today, Mish?
I did, actually, in
Nice.
the afternoon. Did you, Vincent?
As well. Yes.
Vincent, thank you. You're out.
Oh,
Ta-da. Vincent's word is well. Okay, now let's try. Don. So when you picked up the trombone, is that an instrument that you're really sure of taking up?
Yes.
How sure were you?
Yes.
Okay. Alright. Michelin.
What about you, Jasmine?
What about me?
Why did you pick up the saxophone? Do you play saxophone? Yeah. Why?
I do.
How would you rate your saxophone playing, Jasmine?
Terrible.
You're too harsh on yourself. You're too harsh on
Yeah.
yourself.
I've
What?
never properly trained.
Yeah.
Then what about you? What do you think about my clarinet playing?
Really good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh.
And
What?
you can join us. I have a
Harry-
12 series happening from next week. Shameless.
Okay. Oh yeah. Daniel has a series every week with the clarinet club. Michelina, how are you feeling today?
Right.
All right. Is coffee your favorite drink?
No, I actually stopped drinking coffee.
Oh, why?
I didn't need so much energy since the circuit breaker started.
Man.
So
So what do you think of that, Daniel? Michelina stopping to drink coffee.
Pretty good.
Okay,
Well,
Fanny,
I was at like 10 cups every day. So nothing.
I love drinking.
oh man. Done?
Quite an accomplishment for me.
I'm
Do you
not
agree?
already. Oh man.
Oh, do you agree, Ish?
Do you agree?
I do.
Don, what about you?
Oh, three of us.
Okay.
Just the three of you left.
Yes.
The game is on.
And join us as well.
So it's going to be another 3 minutes of silence.
Don,
Michelin.
who's
Oh, yeah,
the
okay.
most competitive out of us three?
Yes.
What?
What? Who's the most
Are
competitive?
you just saying that to be
Yes.
safe?
Yes.
Is it someone's word? That's why you're saying it.
Yes.
Daniel, what about you?
What about me?
Yeah, how's life?
Great.
Okay, what do you have for lunch today?
I had fishball noodles.
Was it the best you ever had?
Yeah.
Actually, no. Actually, I didn't have fishball noodles. My mom made some noodles with pork slices.
Pork slices. Which one do you prefer?
What? Pork slices or fishball?
Or fishball, yeah.
Oh, I hate fishball. So, yeah. I'm sorry, fishball lovers. Like every time my mom would ask me what to tapao for meals, I'll say everything except fishball noodles.
Huh. Michelina, do you hate fish balls as well?
I like fish balls actually.
Don, what are you?
Okay.
Okay.
I think
Vincent, you
okay.
can always join in, Vincent.
Don, what's your favorite
What's my favorite? What?
word?
Yes. I'm a yes man.
That can't be it.
You're playing it too safe.
Michelina, what are you? Are you a yes woman?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Actually, not.
I'm not. Then what about you?
I
What do you
could
think?
be.
About what?
Whether you're a yes man.
No.
This is so difficult. Okay.
I think they've got a
Time's
clue
up.
of what their words are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same. All right, Michelina, what's your word? What do you think your word is?
Yes.
You're right. Don't know about you. What do you think your word is?
Is it sure again?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, Daniel, what about you?
I think it's think.
Right. Yeah. Wait, what was my word? My word was okay, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
your word was okay.
Damn. Yeah, I slipped that. Oh god.
Because
Okay.
actually, to the audience, we had a dry run a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
These were the exact same words.
Was it?
No, it wasn't.
No, it
It
wasn't.
wasn't.
Oh,
I think
we had the same
Vincent
words.
and
I was
Mitch was.
guessing was the same.
Oh man.
Yeah, so I sort of know.
Good
But
effort,
my word
guys.
was very different. Okay. Well done to the team. Better word. All right. So let's move on to the next segment for today. Let's dive deeper into Cole. So let's talk about instrumentation, right? I think whenever people think of a quartet, or a group of musicians playing, it will never come to their mind that it is this combination of instruments, having saxophone, bass clarinet, trombone, and a euphonium. So where do you guys find music for that? That must be a challenge, right? Finding music.
Yeah, we don't find music for this particular setup, unfortunately. So yeah, a lot of what we played so far are either arrangements by Daniel or other members of the group. I think Don did one that we performed in our first show, and yeah, so basically, if you want to talk about music that's readily available, there's absolutely zero.
Zero.
Yeah, absolutely zero. We hope that in the next few months, if everything goes to plan, we'll have a lot more music that's written for us. If everything goes to plan, but for now we can only say so much, fortunately. Yeah, but in terms of deciding this particular setup, it was not planned like we wanted a saxophone and a trombone and a euphonium and a bass clarinet to play together. What happened was we found people who were interested in going down this direction and take on this project. So it's more of like finding the right people and the right personalities, by disregarding the instruments. Then we sort out what we play, which we can still find music. It's a little bit of a shame that we don't play together as much as we can in our performances. Sometimes we have to do some duets or solo pieces because of the limited repertoire. But yeah, there's definitely ways to work around this to still have a very cohesive program, I think.
I think what you said about having the people first rather than the instrumentation is something that's quite interesting, because having the team dynamics is probably gonna make the group succeed, right? Because then you're able to work together. All right. Then I have a question for Michelina. Being able to play like saxophone, so you have soprano all the way to baritone, right? You have a wider range of I'd say sounds that you can create. So are you usually like the bass clarinet, the trombone, the euphonium, they're usually towards the tenor and the bass part. So do you usually get to play the soprano and upper voices? Is that usually your role?
I think the guys in this group misuse that each concept of both. I end up carrying 3 instruments, which are all the instruments I have right now. Yeah, so I play soprano, alto, baritone. But I think as soon as I buy a tenor, it's gonna be included in a call.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm just waiting.
Yeah. So I actually really, really, really enjoy playing all the saxophones and like being able to explore them. Yeah. Yeah,
it's
but
just
with
having to carry it, right?
Yeah, luckily I have 3 guys in my
I was about to say. What about the rest of you? Like, is there a compromise? Like, did you find maybe today I want to play something that is more of a soprano region? Like maybe instead of bass clarinet, then I can play the E flat clarinet or the B flat clarinet. Has that ever would you ever have that kind of arrangement in your music?
Yes, definitely. We actually did a performance at the Esplanade Concourse, and I had to play the E flat and the bass in the same.
Oh, the embouchure.
Yeah, and I just had like maybe 4 bars to change my instruments. Yeah. So, I mean, I adapted the piece for us, and I sort of gave myself the challenge as well. So it was my own wrongdoing. Yeah, but I mean, if I can do such things to myself, then probably my teammates would also think that I would not be kind to them either.
Oh.
Yeah.
Does that mean we'll be able to see something like, a bass trumpet coming from Vincent and then, a soprano trombone, I don't know, coming from Don? It's possible?
Probably not soprano trombone, but I think alto trombone is definitely in the
Okay.
in the works. I'm always open to that, but just it doesn't really happen.
Yeah. When the opportunity comes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So just a fun fact, like I think everyone else here mentioned that Daniel actually arranges music and composes as well, right? And he's also a conductor. So okay, we have a short clip which is taken from the snippet that has been shown just now. So just listen again to Daniel's composition. So that was a piece written by Daniel, and try to imagine what is going on in your mind when you're watching that. All right, let's have the video up, please. Okay, so if you've ever wondered how pieces like that are written and in terms of notation, this is a sample that Daniel has kindly shared. Just have a look and see how different is it from conventional writing. Yeah, Daniel, do you want to give maybe a bit of breakdown as to what was going on in your mind when you're writing something like that?
When we programmed Lost, which is what our first project was, and we were trying to look for music that would fit the theme, and we wanted to do some stuff as a quartet and not just as solo instruments. So I had to come up with something. Yeah, so this was the piece that I came up with, and with the score that you're all looking at now is actually the same part that we all have. Yeah, so with a lot of this kind of new music stuff, I mean, this is quite already very normal. Yeah, so it's not super complicated. It's very free, and we'll actually call this like aleatoric music or chance music. So everybody has the same part to our own interpretation to make meaning of the things that we see on the score. Yeah, so there's a lot of freedom for one. And I didn't write any pitch. So, but there were like ranges of notes that I wanted for us to perform. So there's approximate, like suggestions of pitch or rhythms or effects. Like we would do flutter tonguing, air sounds, and just dynamic ranges and the usual musical expressions. Yeah, and I think every performance of this piece would be different. Like on the top of the page, I wrote 1 to 80 players. I really hope that one day at least a group would play this with all 80 or even more, because it would create such a different atmosphere. Yeah, and I think like when we performed this in Kuching in December, yeah, I think you already felt the huge difference between when it's live and when it's recorded. Yeah. So with this kind of music, at least for this piece, it's more atmospheric. And because we perform this in complete darkness when we have live audience. Yeah. So the whole piece was just to create maybe to some an eerie feeling. Or some people just think, oh, they're like animal noises, It's open to interpretation. Yeah, there's no like, oh, it's an angry piece or sad piece or whatever. Yeah.
I think that's a really interesting and creative process. I think for musicians out there who have never tried, playing things like that, I would say try to go for it, and see where your horizons and your limitations are, and see what you from there. All right. So let's, in terms of creativity, so there's obviously musical creativity, but what about giving a different experience to your audience? What do you guys do in your concert that actually revolutionizes the experience for concert goers? Don?
Well, I think it's something that actually Vincent mentioned earlier. He said the word relevance, and I think it's really trying to make the music that we play more relevant to the audience. So trying to look at the different ways we could present it and engage them, because they are part of the performance. They are there physically. They are there to experience something different, and it's not just like we are just there to play and then everyone did applause and then everyone goes home after that. Yeah.
So then what can your audience expect when they attend one of your performances?
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't think to expect only one thing. I mean, I also hope that every one of our performances are going to be different in a way. So I wouldn't actually give a certain expectation in a way. Yeah. So I mean, expect the unexpected, I guess.
Expect the unexpected. Okay, that's really all right. That's interesting. All right. From your past, I think we've seen like a few clips from your past performance. There's this interesting cutout, that have been playing with the lights and stuff. Michelina, do you want to explain a bit as to what the audience was trying to get themselves? What kind of ambience that you guys were trying to create during that moment?
I think with this piece, it's called We Speak Etruscan. So it's about the lost language of Etruscan. So I did this piece with Daniel earlier in the year before we started with Cope. It was like a small experiment of mine. And then, I wanted to make this contemporary music relatable because I knew my parents were going to be in the audience. So I'm like, how do I make this, how do I help them understand the music more? So what I thought was, make it hands-on, make it interactive. So I went to look for Etruscan, the alphabets.
Yeah.
And I imagined what it would be like, in a cave where there were where they found the Etruscan writings. So I thought I could imitate that scenario in a concert setting. Which is how I came to that idea, Yeah, so at first it was terrible cutting the AP of my own. And thankfully I had Daniel helping me with the second one.
And also because the usual audience that we target is quite small. So we don't play in like huge concert halls. And with that, we are actually able to play with the environment that we are performing in. Yeah, so with We Speak Etruscan, we were trying to create the cave, like millions of years ago or whatever. Yeah.
Okay. So with constantly having to create something new, right? For for different new performances that's coming, and just to be able to stay relevant and interactive at the same time. Do you feel the pressure of having to come up with all these creative processes, Vincent?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay. I think the strength in the group, like Don has mentioned, is this sort of like unlimited possibilities and ideas when we speak about a new show or a new concept. I think so far we haven't hit a dry spell yet, but I don't think all of us feel that there's a need to be constantly churning out content in concerts all the time. There needs to be time and thought put into a particular idea to develop that idea, make sure that it is good and cohesive and enjoyable for the audience, and saying what we want to say and communicate what we want to communicate to the audience. So that process is important to get from initially conceiving the idea all the way to making that happen. But we are certainly not pressured in any way to be like, oh, we have to force ourselves to go this particular direction. The ideas that we come up with comes, I would say, very luckily and very organically to us. So yeah, pressure-wise, no, absolutely not.
All right.
Yeah.
just to the audience who's watching, if you guys ever have the chance to watch Cole live, please do so, because I have, and it's really different from what you see on the snippets with the videos that they put up live. Okay, you get a totally new experience, having different senses, being just go. All right. And venturing down this road of non-conventional playing and music, right? I'm sure you have critics saying, what are you guys playing? What is this? It's not music. What have they done? Like, as always, pushing boundaries in terms of new music, right? You always have people, resisting that. So what are the things that your harshest critics have ever said? To any of you?
I don't think, for me personally, I don't think there's been that much criticism. I think, but what I foresee the worst criticism that we can receive as a group is that your show is really boring.
Really?
No, I haven't received that yet, or maybe no one has told me. But if we get a feedback saying that our show is boring, I think that is probably the worst. It's time for reflection.
Yeah.
I think I do agree that not everybody would enjoy sitting through 45 minutes or relatively new or contemporary music. But I would also invite people to really give it a chance and come to this concert with an open mind. Don't have a preconceived knowledge or perception of what the music is going to be like, and try to imagine, try to form your own opinions about what you hear and what you feel, because it triggers certain kind of imagination. Of course, if you come to a show or our show and you're expecting very sort of like traditional classical melodies and harmonies and stuff like that, we might disappoint you. But I think what our show does is it will ask you a lot of questions. It will question you. It will push you. It will challenge you. And hopefully you don't push that away. You don't reject that. And then you just, come and speak to us after concerts. Like, why is it something like that? We will love to talk to you more about the music and why we conceive the show or why we program the show like that. So don't reject the idea. Even like for me, I have very, very little experience prior to this playing a score like what Daniel has written.
Yeah.
Right? So the initial couple of times when we played together, I have absolutely no clue what I was doing. Okay? But you kind of ease yourself into it. Right? The second time you get a bit more comfortable, the third time even more, fourth time and so on. Right? Each time you play, you get a little bit more comfortable. And I think for the audience members, when you listen, it's the exact same thing as well. Each time you come to a show, hopefully you come back again the second time and you understand the storytelling a little bit more. Then the third time even better, and then the fourth time even better. Yeah, that's how I see it.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's quite interesting. So let's move on to the next question. In terms of working together as such a unique group, right? It must be hard to manage in terms of like getting gigs and finances and stuff. How do you guys work around that? So how do you guys function in terms of being able to get gigs? Who does what, basically?
I think we've been really lucky for the past year at least, because we've had gigs coming to us. Yeah, so I think we've been really lucky so far. Yeah, I don't know about the future because we're all stuck at home now.
Yeah.
But even when we were stuck at home, we also had the NAC gig.
True.
Yeah, which happened this week. So yeah, we never know what the future holds, but we all have different roles to play. I basically have the least to do. I don't plan anything. I only compose and the rest of the guys here are doing all the background work, which I'm super thankful for, because if not, our group might not continue anymore if I had to do admin work.
Who does most of the admin work in this group?
So I would say like probably more of the IT stuff is Don.
Okay.
So like website maintenance and all that kind of stuff, it's him. Mish and I kind of share this load of like writing grunts.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my job primarily is to just get in touch with people and talk to people, ask if they're interested in a project, would they like to collaborate and stuff like that. We are still sort of fine-tuning our own administrative roles as we grow. So this is sort of like the kind of structure we have for now.
So then in that case, it sounds like everything's going well, but then is there like a single time where any of you have thought of just giving up?
Not yet, I think.
Not yet.
Yeah, I think because like we said, the group is really young. Yeah, we're just about like a year in, and if we give up within a year, it's not because of anything but just poor working relationships. But working relationships so far has been really, really fantastic. So no such issues like that. Yeah. But I think in terms of like acquiring gigs, we like Daniel said, we've been lucky to get a few, but we've also been planning our own projects as well. And it's unfortunate that we have all this COVID situation unraveling over the last couple of months. Otherwise, we could have already been promoting something that is going to come up, because that initially our plan was to do something in August. Yeah, so we were kind of working towards that, and then now there's no communal gatherings and all that kind of stuff, which means everything has to be put on hold. But like I said, we have something lined up, just waiting for the green light, and if there's a green light, then I'm sure you'll see more about what's going to come up.
Okay, so all right, if that's the case, then is there anything that you can maybe tell the audience as to what's going to come up soon, or is it all under like not all under secrecy for the moment?
Maybe we could review the collab with Zhang Yi, because that's like happening.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody else.
What was that?
So we have a collaboration with a Singaporean composer, Chen Zhang Yi. He's actually on the live watching now, I think. He's been coming in and out. So there's like a composer kind of, how do you even say this? Like a tech kind of, like a continue the flow kind of collaboration. So they would give a theme or motif to a composer, and then they would expand on it, and when they're done, they'll pass it on or create a new motif for the next composer, and they'll nominate. Yeah, a lot of like the viral posts, like a 10-day nomination kind of thing. Yeah. So so we have which just happened this week, and it will end next week already. Okay. Yeah, so he's composing a minute or two, and we will have to record this, and then we work together in the future after that. Yeah, so that's like the nearest collaboration or project that we have.
Okay, so when can we expect this to be uploaded?
Probably in a few weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, because we need to do like post-production and everything. Yeah.
All right. And then I also know that individually you guys have your own projects coming up, right? So for Daniel, you are doing a Do It with Yao, was it?
Do It with Yao.
Do It with Yao session, hosted by the Clarinet Club, Singapore. So we just include the link down there. So basically you're doing a scale each week. For
a scale or two and some exercise routines. Yeah, it's primarily for clarinetists, but all instruments you can feel free to sign. It's for free and it's on Zoom. I don't have to hear you. You don't have to be worried about me hearing you if you don't want to. Yeah, so I'll practice along, and we'll all be in our own homes practicing together the routines that I have. Yeah, so unless somebody wants to be heard and to give some critiques or suggestions and whatever, it's a safe space. So don't have to be worried. Hopefully all the viewers here, if you have students stuck at home, not doing their practice, you can use this opportunity. I'm not earning anything from it, just to be open. Yeah, so this is just for the good of all the wind players. Yeah, because we haven't had any band practices in the past half a year for some people, so this is a good chance to get your rusty instruments or moldy instruments out of the cases.
Yeah. All right. Vincent's doing something vastly different. He has a new podcast. It's called You Play What podcast? Is that right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
We have included the links down below if you want to check it out. But Vincent, do you want to talk a bit about what the podcast is about?
Yeah. So basically, You Play What? The title came from me playing the euphonium. Very common question that I get is, you play a what? And after explaining to people for a good 5 minutes, they still kind of have no clue what I'm talking about. So this is something that I face for most part of my life. But in my podcast, I'm not talking about that. So in my podcast, what's going to happen is I'm inviting different guests every week to come onto the show. And in the show, or on the show, they would share with me and the listeners their career developments and how they got to where they are at the point of their career. And we'll see where the conversation flows and have a little bit of laugh. Yeah.
And who's your first guest for their first episode?
Of course, my first guests are these wonderful people that are also appearing in the chat. So the whole ensemble is on the first episode. Yeah.
That's out already, right?
No, that's gonna come out on Wednesday. So the trailer is out, so you can head over and listen to the trailer for now, and then come Wednesday at 11 a.m. Singapore time or Malaysian time, you'll become live. 11
a.m. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What about Michelina and Don? Any individual projects coming up?
Things that cannot be yet published.
Okay, yeah, understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don is for me. I mean, when it happens, it happens.
All right. So all keeping busy with interesting projects coming up. Okay. All right. So that's the last question that we have for this segment. For the next segment, we have a game that we've been playing. It's called Yes or No. So it will test how well you guys know each other. And then, like, one of our comments that we received last week is that I'm trying to destroy our relationships. So let's see whether it will happen with this group or not. Okay.
So much like COVID, you're just gonna highlight the problems that are really there. So it's okay.
Maybe with the questions that I'm gonna ask. Okay. So all right, let's start with the game. It's called Yes or No. Hit it. Raymond.
Is this the right side? Or should this is okay, right?
Okay, so welcome to the Yes or No segment. So the rules of this game is very simple. Have a piece of paper and have on one side written yes, and on the other side no. Yep. Yes, you can see it clearly now. Okay, so I'll be asking you a series of apparently relationship jeopardizing questions in 90 seconds. And as quickly as possible, you raise your answer to the screen. Okay? No cheating. Please answer honestly based on what you think the answer is gonna be. Okay? If all of you get the same answer, you get 1 point. Otherwise, you don't get a point. No, 1 point for all. If all of you get the same answer, it's 1 point.
Okay.
As long as one of you get a different answer, that's a 0 for that. All right. Okay. So from our last session with Man of Winds, apparently the score when the timer was up was 9. Okay. So that's not a difficult score to beat, I think, with this group. Yeah. But who knows?
Pressure is on.
Are there any questions?
Or we'll set the lowest benchmark.
No, you won't. Yeah, you've seen how the game works, right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Alright, so are you ready? Yes? Vincent, ready? Okay, on my counter. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, let's go. Can Daniel memorize a piece faster than the rest of you? Is Michelina the weirdo of the group? Has Don ever hit you with one of his trombone slides? Can you see Vincent as a college physics professor? Or no, pineapple on pizza?
No.
Next question. Is Daniel a boomer? Does Michelina always wear heels to hide stage jump? Has Don ever thought of quitting as a musician? Oh, is Vincent the most knowledgeable amongst all of you? Oh, does Daniel own way too many clarinets? Are you all proud of Michelina's achievements? Is water wet? Has Don ever been secretly mad at one of you and you could tell? Does Vincent look better without spectacles? Does Daniel tell way too many dad jokes?
No.
Is Michelina kiasu? Has Don ever cheated in an exam and got away with it? Oh! Does Vincent drink too much coffee? Has Daniel ever committed a serious crime without getting caught? Alright, that is all the time that we have.
Wow, we are terrible.
Yeah, we are terrible.
What was the
Sorry,
score?
that's it for tonight.
Sorry? The score was 7. Oh no! Hey, that is the lowest that we have so far. But good to know. But you guys are recently just a new group, right? So there's more time to get to know each other better.
But we hide our paper after every question, you know.
That's true. That's true. Playing fair by the rules. Okay, I mean we've come to the end of the show, but before we go off, is there anything inspiring that you guys have to say to those who are trying to push the boundaries of music, but have been pulling back or being hesitant, or those who are trying to create their own ensemble but don't really have the resources to do so? Michelina?
You would call me. with that, like, keep exploring new things. Like, go to museums, go see art shows, go to theater, go to different concerts, go to poetry, and just really, take yourself out of the comfort zone and explore these different experiences. Like, you never know when you might be able to use them or, get inspired by them. So I think this applies in any industry. It's not just with musicians. Yeah, so that's my advice for everyone out there.
Okay. What about Vincent?
Say, don't be afraid to be different and try different things. Okay, anything that is popular most of the time is pretty boring because everyone is doing it. So if you have a new idea, if you want to try something different, if you want to play different music, just go for it. Yeah, don't be afraid of what other people say and what other people think.
Don?
I would say surround yourself with the right people, like my wonderful teammates here. I mean, I'm just saying this because I think it's actually vital for growth if you have received honest feedback, not like overly criticisms and and not too positive compliments as well. Just look for a group of friends, of people that you can rely on that give you honest feedback. Yeah.
Okay. Daniel?
Well, I'm going to be a little bit of a party pooper. There was this advice given to me before I started my music career. Like, if you ever don't do it. Yeah, and basically a lot of times you will doubt yourself, but it's from there what actions you take that will really determine the outcomes. Yeah, because you will as a musician, you will constantly get criticisms. Yeah, and you can either choose to take the criticism and improve yourself, or you can just crumble with all the criticisms. Yeah, and you yourself should be the harshest critic to your own art. Yeah, so if you ever doubt yourself, maybe you should reconsider. Yeah, if not, press on, and eventually things will get better. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, really nice words from everyone. Okay, I hope that really inspires our viewers right now, who is going through the same thing. So I think that's all the time that we have for today. But don't just leave yet, because for the next episode we actually have a group from Sarawak. Alright, so we have SMK Bintulu Marching Band. We're gonna go local the next week and trying to just share the stories of what bands are actually going through at this moment in time, how they've come so far, and what they have done to be so successful today. Okay, so but instead of me explaining to you, we have a short video from our guest next week, which is going to be shown right now.
Can you remember? We refresh together. Set 1, set 2, how many counts?
Right, so it's time to support SMK Bintulu Marching Band next week. So with that, thank you so much, Cole, for joining us today on Insider'S Spotlight. Make sure you follow their social media links just right down below, and make sure you like, comment, and if you're on YouTube, subscribe as well. Okay, so with that, everyone, thank you and have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.